Hello. It's too hot in this house. Finished the orange juice. Now I want some more. It's 10:25 p.m. I don't know what to do. I fell asleep at like 7 p.m. and then woke up at 9:30, and I'm just stressing about being awake. I tried taking the magnesium I got at about 7 p.m. and then I fell asleep. Not too long after that, but not for very long. Now I'm awake again. And looking at the screen is making me feel stressed. I can't think of anything that I want to do. I'm just laying around. I sat in the chair for a bit. I feel a bit useless, to be honest. I'm always thinking about what the point of life is recently. Because it feels like a lot of what it is just going around in circles. And a lot of the time there's no joy, there's no happiness, there's no good feelings to be found. Much of the time it's just misery, suffering. And as far as I know, there's no cure for it. There's no cure that I've found. Unless there's something specifically wrong with me that is severely abnormal that I'm not aware of. Which I don't think there is. When I say me, I mean this body. This body is not me. It's the body that I have. My body, not me. Man, I'm so tired I'm so bored of the internet. It's stressing me out how fucking monotonous and repetitive it is to be. Like I wake up, I just grab my phone, I start looking at the same thing again. Why am I looking at this again? What am I doing? I really need to significantly change something in my life. I need to reintroduce what was making me feel so good. At one point, which is something closer to like living on the edge. Waking up and being like, okay, I've got to get out of here. I need to figure out where I'm going to go. And then getting up and going and living like an exploration. Being in the same four walls every day is so uninspiring. And I'm just doing the same things. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm just looking at my computer. There's nothing to find on either of them. There's no reward. Why am I doing it? It is truly pointless. I'm completely wasting my time doing meaningless activity. I need to get physical. But if I'm going to live in a house, I need a much bigger house. I need much more access to resources to actually be able to live the way that would be good for me. And I'm just not able to do that. Because life is just shit and cruel. So I can't get what I want. I can't live in a way that will make me happy. Why? I don't know. Just because. So I just started turning to the camera so that I can talk about it. Which provides some kind of solace, at least a little bit. But it certainly doesn't change my life. Not right now, anyway. I can picture exactly where I live in this version of me that's not me, where everything's great and I've figured everything out. I've figured out exactly what it takes to make me feel good. And I've organised everything to happen around that. And that's what I'm aiming for. With no idea how I'm going to get there. But I just feel like it's not going to happen. Not for me. I feel like I'm one of the unlucky people. I'm not going to get to actualize my image of the way I would like it to be. I'd love to be proven wrong. And yeah, the future holds an unforeseeable mystery. That could become anything. I'd just like to be free of suffering, really. That's That's all I really want. But I think that includes a lot of physical activity. For me personally, that seems to be the only way to be free of suffering for me. It's for me to be physically active constantly, regularly, and separate from what is going on up here. So, when is it all going to happen? How is it all going to happen? Well, I'm in two minds. I don't believe it will, to be quite honest. I'm probably just better off accepting that it won't and then getting on with what I need to do here and now. That is going to be the best. That is going to be the most realistic solution. But then what do I do now? Apart from just move on from the fantasy that I have. I don't know. I uploaded my video from yesterday. Oh, today, I guess. Yeah, it's only 10:41. I'm just saying yesterday because I had a sleep, but I guess I'd have to call it a nap. It was only an hour or two. I put it onto my computer, but I just can't fucking be bothered to watch it. But it's because I just can't be bothered to watch anything. Like, sometimes just looking at the screen is like, ugh. I don't know, there's a quality about the screen that is unpleasant. Maybe I just don't like looking at screens. But I keep thinking, oh, there must be something I can watch that'll be okay, make the screen seem alright. But I don't want to look at the screen at all. I don't like it. So what am I supposed to do? Just sit here, just staring at the fucking wall? I've got nothing else to do. I'm just gonna have to do what I just said, just find something that I'm actually interested in watching. I'm not really sure there is anything that I'm actually interested in watching. I don't know. So try Netflix. Fucking hell, man. Jesus, what is this? Yeah. Um. think there's anything I want to watch. Someone did recommend me to watch Being Gordon Ramsay. Maybe I'll watch that. Started watching Gordon Ramsay. Is that all it's called? Oh, Being Gordon Ramsay. It's good so far. Okay, I finally bothered to have a quick look through the vlog and then get it exported. And it was alright. I mean, what I saw anyway. Yeah, man, I need something to do now. Sing more songs again. Maybe. Try the karaoke again. No, I don't want to do that. I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't know how to fucking figure out what I want anymore. I don't seem to get any ideas. Sometimes I don't seem to get any good ideas. It's like I just have a blank. What can I do about that? Don't know. I think that's what I was saying before. I feel useless. I do feel useless. I try to rack my brains to find something to think, to say, to do. I just get nothing, or I just get pain, misery. Why does that always seem to be there? Seems to be an underlying thread of pain and misery that I'm always talking about. It just goes through everything as if it's an assumption. I don't know why that is. I don't want it to be like that. But I don't want lots of things. Lots of things still happen even though I don't want them to. I don't get what I want a lot of the time. I could probably do some more greens in my diet. I think there's a lot. Like I should buy some vegetables and then cook them up or something. Stir fry, something like that. Just something involving vegetables. I basically just never eat vegetables, which is obviously not a great idea. I guess I'm just following I'm just continually thinking, why is it that I feel terrible? And then trying to figure out what it is, you know? As if it's anything, as if it can't be figured out. Well, it definitely might be true that I could feel better if I ate vegetables more often, if at all. Because I haven't done. I really haven't done for a long time. I kept sort of thinking, well, when I've got the money to afford fresh vegetables, that's when I'll buy them. I can't really afford to buy vegetables. Well, That means that I don't eat vegetables. And that's not healthy, obviously. And I guess that's the end of that thread. I don't want to read anymore. I did some reading a couple of days ago. Quite a lot of it. And it was good. But I don't really want to do anymore. Wait, am I saying that I don't want to do it because I want to do it? I don't know. Hang on. I'm going to try it and just see how it feels a little bit. Liam, my mantra is just go on, be your fucking self, and all will be good in the world. So I'm pretty good at being me. So it was a piece of piss. It was a doddle, man. All of it was a fucking doddle. If you go on there and you're not being yourself, you're going to get found out, aren't you? And rolled over. So it was a piece of piss, man. Anyone that played with us got a lesson in how to do it. We were a mega band. We weren't frilly or anything like that. We were just like a fucking juggernaut. Noel, within 18 months, 2 years, we were selling out football stadiums. But again, with the power of youth and all that, you don't think about it. You don't think about it, you just do it. We didn't really have the foresight. We became an arena band almost immediately. Then we became a stadium band almost immediately after that. We jumped 10 levels almost immediately. It took U2. Fucking hell, twice as long to play stadiums, but no one was really asked about the show. We were still behaving like we were playing in nightclubs. Liam, it felt beautiful, it felt massive, the sound was better. I could sit here all day, I guess, and play it cool and that. But without a doubt, it was fucking amazing playing arenas and that. I didn't feel nervous about it, and I give you that straight. It didn't feel like it was too big or anything. It was like, fucking bring it on, can't fucking wait. But then always thinking on to the next thing, going, right, so we're having a bit of this, what's fucking next after that? And then we proved it. Nebworth stadiums, there was always something in the back of my mind or in my soul going, this will fucking do for now, can we just get on with it and get to the next thing? No, I don't remember ever being nervous about those shows. I remember being more nervous looking at the itinerary. It just had the word helicopter in it every fucking other page. I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm spending a lot of time in helicopters the next few months. That ramps up the odds of dying quite fucking sharpish. Rock stars, baby. We were helicoptered everywhere. Helicopter to Slane, helicopter to Loch Lomond, helicopter to fucking Chippy. I was sick of it at the end. Fucking hell, they are a pain in the arse. Wearing them fucking headphones, helicopters are not great. Liam, getting off a helicopter, the only thing I'm thinking is, if that fucking blade messes up my hair, man, I'm walking home. It was like that fucking stupid fucking helicopter fucking messing my hair up. That is seriously where my head would be at. Noel, I remember having a cig on a helicopter on the way to Slane Castle, shouting at the pilot, is it alright if I smoke in here? I lit up a cig and I don't know why. I asked him if he had an ashtray. He said, open the window. Flying over these farms in Ireland, flicking the cig out the window, thinking this is fucking bananas. Liam, there were a few people around then that just weren't too clever with the flying business, but getting in a helicopter at your gig, I'm in. Bonehead, we'd done a gig in Belgium the night before, so me being me, I had the world's biggest hangover. Noel, he's quite an emotional dude, Bonehead. Honestly, it was like trying to get a young calf onto the back of a wagon. I'm not going on, and I'll get a car. It's 9 hours in a car, I don't care. Well, we're on in 3. Well, I'll run then. Just get on the fucking helicopter. He wasn't a fearless flyer. Bonehead, I'm sure the pilot knew because he just started doing Vietnam fucking stunts. I hated it. Fucking helicopter, stupid invention. What's that about? Noel, I remember we got helicoptered in and congregated at the back of the castle. As we were waiting, Johnny Depp appears and introduces himself like we didn't know who he was. And he's going on about Live Forever and Definitely Maybe. Oh man, those songs. I was like, wow, fucking hell, holy shit, man. Anyhow, the way Slane is, you look out onto the crowd and it is a hill. Flat down the front, then this big steep hill. Then for some reason the crowd then snakes around this tree and the bars are right at the top. So when we went on, seemingly 80,000 people were at the bar. We came on and plugged in and everybody ran down this hill. It wasn't scary for us, but it was a real sight to see. It was amazing. The gig had to be stopped. There was a crushing going on and all that. And it was fucking wild, man. But that's what it was like at our shows. Peggy, it was a great time that because I had all the family there with me. We had a police escort through Dublin and flying all over because me, sister, and her husband had come from a different part. I thought it was great to me. It was so good. I was so proud of him. No, Liam was being a cunt all day. I don't know why. He gets nervous at things like that, I think. See, that is the difference between me and Liam. I would just embrace the bigness of it all. I love that fucking shit. 80,000 people, 150,000 people. Fucking bring it on. I love that. I couldn't understand why he was in a fucking bad mood all day. I do remember there being an altercation afterwards. I'm proud to say, or glad to say, I wasn't involved in this particular one. I don't know what had happened. If you're telling me it was him and our Paul, then, well, that is nothing new. Peggy, Paul had the sleeve of his jumper all ripped where Liam must have got a hold of him. It wasn't serious. I think it was just something that Paul said to Liam. Something was said in jest and that was it. It was forgotten in no time at all. Liam, cannot remember a fucking thing. No, I often wonder what it must be like to have your two brothers just be two brothers and then on the fucking turn of a sixpence become these two that are in the press and all that. Liam never spoke about it, but he's not the kind of brother to go, look, can I come with you? He's just like, I'm happy for you, go and do your fucking thing. He was never tagging along like some soppy brother. I guess I've killed the pair of them if it was them two that were in a band. There would have been trouble, but he's not like that. He was living in Manchester, so all the shit we were getting up to, being out and about, he'd have people coming up and going, your brothers are fucking knobheads. I guess it was hard, but like I say, he never come up to me with a sob story. We never even spoke about it. He was always with girls and shit. Don't listen to his stories, sob stories. He had a good time as well. Noel, he's got a unique taste in music, shall we say, and he could talk the fucking back legs off a donkey. I don't really know what that saying means, talk the back legs off a donkey, but he could do it anyway. He very rarely draws breath. Paul, feel left out only when they became huge and then certain people didn't put you on the guest list after you travelled fucking 200 miles. Coily. Slane Castle, that's my last gig. I never worked for that band again after that. When I get home, I went to see a doctor with ringing ears. The doctor says to me, if I was in your shoes, I would stop doing this because you will go deaf. So I left, and that was the end of my live life. I'd had enough as well, I think. No, I do recall Mark coming up to me after Slane Castle and saying, I don't think I can do it anymore. It was a loud gig, you could feel the fucking volume of it from the stage. Towards the end of the Definitely Maybe cycle and starting the beginning of the Morning Glory cycle, people were regularly coming into the dressing room going, fucking hell, that was loud. Now that is alright if it happens once or twice, but it's happening all the time. It means somebody's lost control of the sound out front and they are just turning it up. Jason. Noel's rig just got louder and louder and louder until it was 120 odd decibels in front of it. Probably shake your trousers with that. Coily, my favourite gigs when I was growing up always left my ears ringing for 3 days. 3 days so loud it was bordering on the painful. But you wanted a little bit more. I don't want anybody being able to have a conversation while the band's on. Noel, I think he said in the past it had got too big for him, which is great. I really admire him for that. I wasn't upset. The thing that upset me the most, not that I was upset crying, was that he was one of my fucking best mates and he wasn't going to be on tour anymore. I was gutted that I wouldn't get to hang out with him and listen to his sage advice about various things, which pretty much amounted to a lot of swearing and smoking weed and calling everybody a cunt. If I could have got him a job doing anything else, I'd have done it. So could have sacked somebody, but he didn't want to do monitors, so he retired disgracefully and that was it. Liam, I think he had had enough of the management. They were calling the shots a little bit. People were going, it's not a band thing anymore. Why don't the band tell the fucking management to fuck right off and look after their crew a little bit better? I think it was just getting a bit too corporate for him. I don't blame him. 1 minute you're with the band and there are 5 lads, 7 lads, 10 lads on a bus, you're all having a crack and your mates. I was never a boss of Coily and he was never one of my or our employees. We were just all doing it, having the crack and seeing where it went. Then management comes into it, changes. So one minute you're hanging with your mate, and next minute you're in a different hotel or you're on a different bus or you're being told how your day is going to be by some fucking team instead of your mates. I think the fun goes out of it a bit and you kind of think, fuck this shit. I felt like all the people that were with us at the beginning were kind of getting pushed out a bit. I don't know how and I don't know why, but felt like it was a bit that fucking Manchester lot there with them. Get rid of them now, get someone else on board. We should have trapped them, never let them go, give them a pay rise and just robbed them and kept them there. You'd be like that on the tour bus. What do you think you're doing? You can't sit the fuck down, no one gets out of here. Of course I took it hard, it's a terrible thing that we let them go. A bonehead, I remember it was just like fucking hell, we got some news, Coily's going, that's it, he's done, gutted, oh fuck. It really was like losing a member of the band. No, if anybody was a sixth member of that band, it was Mark. We were roadies together within Spiral Carpets. The first or second batch of demos I ever did were at his house. Married with Children was recorded in his bedroom. He was heavily into Neil Young, Burt Bacharach and all that. And I got a lot of my musical influences from Coily. I wouldn't have wrote Slide Away or Live Forever if it wasn't for Mark. I wouldn't have wrote Half the World Away. I wouldn't have wrote Talk Tonight. I wouldn't have wrote the track Morning Glory. He was one of us, the band. Coily, Phil and Jason, that was it. Bonehead, he wasn't just along for the ride thinking this could be a good thing, a few quid in the pocket and I'll get to travel around the world with these boys. He wasn't in it for that, that wasn't Coily's thing. He was there pre-definitely, maybe pre-getting signed. He put the time in before any of that happened. Like I said, he believed in what we were doing with a passion, he loved it. He believed it like the sixth member of the band, he really did. I think it meant as much to him as it did to us in that sense. He sacrificed a lot to sit in the boardwalk every night and develop this sound through Noel's songs. He'd been there with us, he'd record it and he'd help us. He had a great ear for our sound, he really got it, and he was a sound engineer to boot. Paul, to have a sound engineer, that's half the battle. If you've got a sound engineer who knows your sound and can set it on any desk you go to, you're away. But he is a miserable United fan and that has never changed. Bonehead, even when we had no money, we could bring our own sound engineer with us. Most bands can't afford a sound engineer, so you've got to rely on the guy in-house at whatever gig you're at. He's never heard you before, he's just thinking another 20 minutes of this lot and I'm home. For my fish and chips, turn the drums up, turn up the guitar, bothered if there's a guitar solo there. Fucking arse, just give me my money and I'm off. That is your in-house sound engineer. Not all of them, a lot of them do believe in what they do. But we were fortunate we had Mark Coyle who totally understood us, who knew the songs inside out, doing our sound when we didn't have the money to pay him up. That came across. Obviously we were a great band and well rehearsed. But he was the guy making us sound like us through them speakers for the people who first initially came to see us, which must have helped. Maggie, it was kind of sad to see him go because he was one of the original guys on the road with us, but he was having problems with his ears. It was quite genuine. There is a problem sound engineers have in general, but I think that there was also an element of it becoming a bit too much. It wasn't the vibe that he'd originally brought into, you know what I mean? Coily, I think the best times are when everybody's together and that gang is out on the road. They are the best of times, doing their little gigs and living in each other's pockets. It's lovely, it's just absolutely fantastic. And then it does lose something when, you know, the industry grabs hold and all of a sudden the band are not in your hotel, the band are not on your bus, and in some respects it's like going to work. No, I'm not in this business to go to work, I'm in this business to make me feel good. I absolutely love it and I live it, and the minute I feel like I'm going to work, I'm away. There's a lot of little issues at the time, but, you know, the machine goes on and the band goes on. The band had business to do, I'm not getting in the way of that. No, it made me a little bit sad that he wasn't going to be around because we knew it was going to explode at this point, that it was going to go through the fucking roof. It was a shame that he wasn't around. But there you go, I have more respect for him for bowing out gracefully than waiting to get sacked. I still speak to him regularly. He was a drummer in his band Tailgunner. We never got to too many gigs, but we did put a record out. It's pretty good actually. Liam, Coily was cool, Man United fan, deaf as a fucking lamppost man, but I love Coily. Coily, broken hearted man, you never you know, never get over it. Walking away from that, I'm not over it now, but it was the right thing to do. Say what you say. No, that whole episode, the country house thing, it was the best of times and the worst of times, Liam. There was all this Britpop thing bubbling up at the time. We were getting lumped into it. I was like, we're not Britpop, we're not Camden. Fucking hell, man, I can't be fucking asked to read this shit, man. It's just fucking shit, isn't it? Still here. It's coming up to 1 a.m. now. Fuck this vlog. These videos are shit. It's just you walking around talking about things that you're thinking about and then going to the shop. Why are you making this? You're a loser. You're wasting your time. You're so lame. Okay, we're going to try and do some more low energy reading. The reading I did before was very low energy. And that's why it was so great. No, that whole episode, the country house thing, it was the best of times and the worst of times. Liam, there was all this Britpop thing bubbling up at the time and we were getting lumped into it. I was like, we are not Britpop, we are not Camden. I always fancied us as a proper fucking rock and roll band, a bit more real. They were a bit more flimsy and a bit fucking stupid, a bit silly, and I don't know, there was something comedy about it all. Pulp and all that, they are good bands, but I never felt like we were part of that. I felt like they were just some fucking weird shit going on over there. No. I really respected Pulp, still do. I like Pulp and The Verve, but we didn't have a great deal in common with all the bands that were lumped together for the Britpop thing. The Northerners we always got on with. Everybody south of Watford. Quite frankly, you can fuck off as far as we were concerned. I can't read anymore. I don't know why I had to do it in a ridiculous voice. You can fuck off. It would be good if I actually had some viewers for this vlog. Then they could actually talk to me about things. And then I could say, have a look at this can of beans that I've got. And then I'd show them the can of beans. And then it wouldn't be a can of beans, it would be a can of vegetable curry. Why? Because I'm weird. Wait, hang on, what? It's 9:51 a.m. Just got up. I feel basically alright. A little tired. But I'm good, I'm going. It's a Sunday morning. So, I've been up for a couple of hours now. I've got a pain in my mouth. I don't know why, but it's made me not feel like speaking so much. So I've been sitting and listening to Joe Rogan talk to Louis Theroux, and it's making me feel better. But yeah, I woke up today not feeling so good about myself, about life. Which is unfortunately now a very common thing for me to feel. But it's okay. You know, I feel a bit like the Ariana Grande song where she says there's no tears left to cry. Like, I've already sort of got it all out, but now I'm just left with the residual feeling. I'm not, I'm not so sad about it, the way everything is. Um, but I just have to sort of go through this sort of residual phantom pain every now and then. That's how it feels. I'm not really sure how to describe it other than that. Um, but well, I've just been sort of like pulling the camera out and then thinking, no, I don't want to say anything. But I think it's 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 always pain that drives a negative action. Um, what what I mean by that is if you think about doing something, but then you get an immediately painful reaction from your body at the thought of doing it, then that's what stops you from doing it. So that's what it was. I had an aversion. I was thinking, oh, I'll pull out the camera, but then kept having that reaction until just now, where I thought, you know what, I can just explain how I feel. So yeah, there's nothing that positive to say at the moment, which is okay. It's 3 p.m. on the Sunday. I've not been up for that long. I mean, I got up at like 9:40 a.m. and then I went back to sleep again. But yeah, I'm just I'm just sort of reshuffling a lot of sort of the habits and the patterns of the way that I am. And I'm finding it a lot more quiet where there used to be something to say. I'm now just finding quiet, and I think it's good personally. I'd like anything that I do say to be distilled down to the essence of what is important. And I think that does mean sometimes less is more, because you can say a lot with one word. It's not about the word, it's about the depth of consideration that has gone into the creation of the word. That's where the power lies. Um, so yeah, I'm currently just accepting quieting down and actually, receiving peace in the process. If peace is what I want, which it is, then I have to allow peace to be. So today I think might well be another day of just me by myself. Um, which has been, well, yeah, basically, where I am right now is just, I'm still sort of in the say less era. And that's all good. It's funny because say less doesn't mean don't say anything. Say less means, all that all that appears before you when you consider your speech in any moment. It can be read quietly or it can be spoken out loud, but there's actually a greater portion of things that cannot be spoken, and those thoughts are unpleasant to process mentally, but once they've actually been filtered through the awareness of the conceptual mind, then there is peace to be found in being free from those lingering thoughts. So, yeah, what is the story with James? Story with James now is nothing has changed. Still exactly the same. But I speak as though everything has changed. But I do that every day. That's what I'm always like. That's always how I speak. People find it very bizarre and confusing sometimes. Because they're like, who is this guy? What does he think? And they don't know. Because I'm a proper chameleon, It's not been a very good filming day today because I just really don't feel like talking all that much to Cameron the camera. But no problem. I said from the beginning, if I feel like doing this, I'll do it, and if I don't, I won't. It must be tiring trying to constantly make out how great your life is. My life's sort of great sometimes it's not. A bit like everybody. But, I don't really try to hide that fact. And that's because I don't really have anyone to impress. I don't care all that much about impressing anyone, really. To be honest, think the urge to impress other people usually comes from what? Hurt, insecurity. Some people, a lot of the time people want to look as though they're doing well, as a petty revenge against someone that has upset them. I don't really care about doing any of that. I just accept myself as I am. I am who I am. It's okay with me. I'm the one who has to live with me. So I prioritize being okay with myself before anyone else, I suppose. Anyway, it's 6 p.m. I've not been doing much today. I do keep thinking about going out, but then I do keep convincing myself that it's a bit pointless. Which it is. It is a bit pointless. I'm not much of a social creature. I embrace and accept social situations when they come to me. I don't really like to go out seeking them because I don't really care about them that much. Much more of an independent kind of person. This is speaking as there's no absolutism here in the way I'm speaking. This is a relative understanding of myself as I perceive myself right now, and I'm not going to refer to any other sort of time, whether that's something that compounds or detracts from what I'm saying in terms of the validity of the point as to the accurateness of the descriptor. I am what I am now. Something I've noticed a lot recently, it's quite funny, is the way that people can reactionarily fall into a kind of thinking that accepts absolutes, not realizing the temporality of seeming absolutes. And I find that kind of thing quite funny, the way that people do that. And I guess it's a behaviour that you kind of grow out of eventually. I mean, hopefully people grow out of that kind of behaviour, because it does kind of feed into the division that appears due to people's willingness to play identity, games of identity, creating comparative ideas of people based on their shared group identity, taking the emphasis away from the individual and simply claiming the group to represent the individual and the individual to represent the group. There's no group identity that I have that I could claim to represent, or that I would claim represents me. Okay, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, for instance, you could put me into the group of a white person. You could put me into the group of man. You could put me into the group of white man. I, personally, as an individual, don't represent the views of other white men just because I am a white man. nor do the views of other white men represent me just because I am a white man. To me, being white and being a man doesn't really have much impact, if any at all, as to what opinions I have or what beliefs I have or anything like that. I don't personally see a connection between any of that because it doesn't matter to me the fact that I'm white, and it doesn't matter to me the fact that I'm a man. Because I actually don't believe that I am white, nor I am a man. I have a body that I inhabit, and that is what they call a white body, and it's what they call a male body. Who I am is a different question. Who am I? Is as the inhabitor of this particular body, as a body is defined. To me, the primary identity that I actually associate with is the awareness of any other idea of what I am. After the cognition of awareness. So there is awareness, that is what I would refer to as I, the one who perceives. And you say, I am a white man. So that is the awareness of being a white man. Now, I could say I am not a white man. I am I. Or I am. And that's closer to a true definition of what I am. I am I am. Everything else that comes after that is a secondary characteristic. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is that there's a lot of this going on recently that I've seen from certain people that is conflating the group identity with the individual identity and believing that they're correlative, which I would disagree with personally, to think that there's correlation amongst people who share secondary characteristics like what they refer to as skin colour, which I don't agree with the concept of. To me, it means nothing. So there's no racism for the way I think about things, because the way I think about things, there's no races. There's no black people, there's no white people, there's no any colour people. There's people, and there's just people. That's it. And I don't think there's any real reason to create distinctions or ideas of difference. To me, there's no difference, and that's all that matters to me. I try to maintain fairness and care for anyone that I can, unless I'm not capable of doing that. But when I refer to people, I'm not referring to just the bodies that they inhabit. I'm referring to the what is existent within them, their actuality, which is the soul, the spirit, or the character, or the contents of their character. That to me is what a person is. I got really confused a long time ago when I would occasionally give someone a compliment like, wow, you're so beautiful. And I would get, I had a couple of people try to call me out as if I was saying something shallow. And I guess in their mistake was thinking that I was in some way referring to something physical, which to me is never what beauty is. Beauty is something that's spiritual. It's something that's of the soul. When you look at a person and you see beauty, I think that what people are referring to as physical beauty is just a reflection of their inner beauty, the beauty that comes from the soul. Anyway, I forgot. No, well, doesn't matter. I've had enough of staying in. No, I don't. But I don't know. I'm gonna cut. I might go out for a bit, just pretty much for the sake of it. It's 6 p.m. Sunday. I don't know why I'm saying either of those things. They don't mean anything. I know why I'm saying it. It's because to other people, to say that would mean something. It's 6 p.m. Right. It's Sunday. Right. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything to me. If I want to go out for a walk at 6 p.m. on Sunday, then I can do that. I guess there's someone who thinks that means they can't do that. Why? I don't know. Where is that located? I should look for that. Or maybe I shouldn't. Where's the thing? Oh, there it is. Okay. Right, first, before we leave, we're going to do the coffee challenge. It's a cold coffee I made 2 hours ago. We have to neck it as fast as possible. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Wow. That was hard. It wasn't hard. Anyway, yeah, I'm going outside. Okay, so I'm going to state the obvious now. I'm outside. I have to whisper. I don't know why. I think I'm basically just going to go to the shop and that's about it. That's all I ever do. I don't do anything. I just sit in my house and I go to the shop. That's all I do. Ever. That's who I am. I'm shop man. I need some more topics of conversation for videos. I think that means I need more interaction. So I've either got to get more online interaction or I've got to invite people that I know sort of round to interact with them for the video. Or I've got to go out sort of looking for interactions with the camera. I don't know. I mean, I could just go out looking to meet new people. Again, I mean, I've not really done that with that specific intention for a very long time. I'm not sure I've ever really done that with that specific intention, but maybe I have. I don't know. I can't think. My definitions are kind of off. But yeah, I've got to start putting myself into different positions, because I've sort of arranged everything to be very comfortable and everything, but it's not what I'd say is good. It could be a lot better if I was putting myself in slightly more uncomfortable positions, because there's more to be learned from that. I don't really learn much from living comfortably. It's not really my goal to live comfortably. It's sort of natural to orient yourself towards living in comfort, at least to some degree. But personally, I'm aware that it's not ideal for doing what I want to do, which is to have an extraordinary life. You know, driving towards comfort makes you basically quite ordinary. It might not. Depends on the person, and you know, there's different ways in which that conceptual sort of ideal can fall apart and separate and become something else, which is sort of the inevitable life of all conceptual ideals. They all sort of appear and disappear. They all get countered with, you know, the literal opposite, and then they also get countered or semi-countered with ideas that are closer but keep introducing elements that change the original dynamic. And some people see that as the developmental process, but others who are caught in their ideals see that as the risk to their set of ideas. I love when my set of ideas are at risk. That means I get to develop new ideas. That's great. That's exactly what I want. I don't believe that my ideas are fundamentally and absolutely correct, because I don't believe ideas can be correct, nor do I believe they can be incorrect. To be correct or incorrect means to be unchanging. To me, nothing is unchanging. All that appears will disappear. All that is here is subject to change. There's no question of if. There's just a question of when.